So today I'm going to go over some of my packing essentials. I've made a thrifty packing video before, but as I'm getting ready for my next trip, I thought, why not cover just some important things that I always try to pack. Now, some essentials are new essentials, some are repeated essentials. But whenever you're packing, you definitely want to keep in mind weather, events, the activities you're going to do, and just in case something pops up or something happens. I can't tell you enough how I've packed for, certain weather that I've tracked, and then next thing you know, it rains or it's cold, and I wasn't expecting it to be cold. So definitely make sure you pack what you need, even if you don't think you'll need it. You might need it. Like whenever I went to Washington, D.C. for the first time, all the reports and vlogs said, oh, it's going to be humid and hot. Next thing you know, it was cold and I was ended up freezing at the airport. So now I always bring a blanket or jacket for sure. Another thing to think about is, hey, what's in your under the seat or carry-on bag or whatever you want to call it? Well, usually I take a backpack. But I decided to find this lovely gem at Walmart for like 20 bucks. And this is going to be my under the seat bag. Because usually I never take that much stuff on the plane with me as my quote unquote carry on to go under the seat in front of me. But I really wanted to get into the habit of actually putting certain like emergency things in there, like my foldable backpack. I was not going to unfold it this time. If you want to see what it looks like, I have other videos where I feature that same backpack. It's always good to have an emergency pack of clothes just in case your luggage gets lost. I really love on the flight there to put my most important items such as Mickey ears, headbands, certain things that I really want to wear, and I always have anxieties, especially if I do check in my luggage. I will more than likely put all of my top favorite outfits in my carry-on and then put my other stuff that I can of course buy there in my checked bag. But then again, if I have a carry-on suitcase for that trip, then, of course, my carry-on bag is just stuff that I really am going to need on the flight or while I'm waiting for my flight. But I always have power banks, headphones, lots of hand sanitizer, toilet seat covers, my special ID badges, wallet, stuff like that. This is purely what my carry-on bag looks like off-season. Before I travel, like I said, I'm always picking up things throughout the year for my next trip. And this is kind of what my bag looks like right now. Of course, closer to my trip, it will be a whole different story. It'll be more full. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys how my carry-on bag looks, how much storage it has, and what I've gathered thus far. Of course, closer to my trip, I'll probably make another video or so showing it more full on what I actually for sure pack. But this is kind of like a neat little example just to give you an idea. I always have an emergency toothbrush in my carry-on bag. I always usually have toothpaste, emergency, like a smaller emergency deodorant, things like that. So if by chance something happens to my checked-in luggage, I'm always prepared. Packing your suitcase, which is what I love to do. Even off season, my suitcase stays full. Like I said, during my non-travel time, I'm always looking for things for my next trip. So that way I'm not busy right before my trip getting stuff. I hate that because I always end up forgetting things. But I always have a backup backpack. Thanks to Boston, I always take 2 backpacks with me just in case one tears. A new thing that I'm loving is taking my own pillowcase. Not that the places that I don't stay aren't clean. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just really germophobic when it comes to those things. That's my lovely tag that goes on my suitcase. Yes, because people always tend to grab the wrong one, but I always tell people it's fun to add a little flair or individuality to your suitcase. Also, it helps you spot it, whenever it's coming down the conveyor belt. My little personal safe lock box. That's another thing that's always going to be with me, whether I end up really using it or not. You never know. Sometimes you don't want to carry things with you, or you buy something that's super special. I always carry an umbrella. I am in the market for a poncho. I don't know if I want to thrift it or just, put money into it and get a more expensive one. I'm still debating on that. A lot of people say, hey, invest. Some people say, no, go cheap so we can throw it away. We'll see. I always take a blanket with me. This is my own travel blanket that I made. Ever since I went to DC and I was freezing, I always take my travel blanket. Another thing that's always in my suitcase is a toiletry bag. This is my newest one. My other one tore after my DC trip. This is the one that got me to Boston and back. I love toiletry bags with hooks because you can just hook it and not have to put it on the counter or touch things. My toiletry bag is always full. Again, I'm always picking up things throughout the year that are on clearance or cheap. I'm always reusing things. I'm always seeing what else I could buy or order that'll just make my travel experience that much easier. So I always have my lovely cute dirty laundry bag, which I love it because it's foldable, so it's in my toiletry bag up until I need it, of course. I'm always taking my own soap. I always take spray bottles. I personally put bug spray in my spray bottle. I just prefer it that way than instead of the little bottles that they give. I always take blister Band-Aids, the Hydro Seal ones, because no matter how much I break in my shoes, I always end up getting some form of a blister. I always do. So I always take those. This little thing I found recently is a new essential. My own toilet seat covers. I've always been iffy about toilet seat covers, like public ones. So it's nice to know that they sell them. So that way, helps my comfort level for people like me. Point holders, you can never have enough because I always lose mine, whether at home or traveling. I'm always picking up packs of wet ones because I'm always wiping down things. Always wiping down things. This is a new habit of mine since Boston. I take my own key ring that's a non-breakable, non-tearable one. So even if my Airbnb has a key, I could just put it on there so that way I don't lose it. I always take an extra wallet. Sometimes I put a large amount of money in another wallet, and I put that kind of in the bottom of my bag. And then I have the smaller wallet more accessible with a small amount of cash. So that way, when I'm buying things, all my money is not showing. I also take a clip-on sunglass case. Sometimes I'll put it in my satchel. Sometimes I'll clip it on my belt loop. So because I do wear glasses, I switch back and forth a lot. I could sit there and get the prescription sunglasses, but it's not really a bother to me. My vision's not too bad where I need to do all that. I also like having extra toothbrushes. You saw the one in my carry-on, but I always have an additional toothbrush holder. Oh, and my black light. That's another thing that I've been having on my travels since DC. It's just one to just show you the cleanliness of where you're staying. If you get to a hotel or Airbnb and you use your black light and you see the sheets are dirty, you can let the hotel staff or the Airbnb host know, hey, I need better sheets. My sheets are actually dirty. They're not as clean as you thought. Or, hey, bed bugs. Or, hey, the toilet's filthy. Or, hey, there's stuff everywhere that you thought you cleaned up, but you didn't. Another essential, packing cubes. Because I'm not taking a trip currently, mine are empty or mostly empty. So, yeah. But packing cubes are always an essential. They just keep your clothes neat and organized, and it just makes finding things a little bit different. But again, this is just a short little video of what my packing essentials are. Now go figure out what yours are. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.